Kenji!
Can I say how excited I am to have watched Camp Cretaceous Season 5? Honestly, I think that this season was the best season so far. We're gonna do some talking about it because, oh my god. I just finished watching it and I was freaking squealing. I really love this show. I'm gonna be honest about what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. Here's my honest thoughts.
Dad? Kenji? You're alive?
So episode 1 is all about Mr. Khan feeling relief that his son Kenji's alive. And then Cash tries to foolishly kill Mr. Khan because he's a freaking weird-ass, mustache-twirling villain. I really enjoy the story of the show, but sometimes I wish they would write the other main characters, the villains who are not the main characters, like actual people. And the only one they make feel like an actual person is May. Cash is just freaking weird and unhinged. I'm like, why do they even... There's no humanity to him whatsoever. So that part I think they messed up on because he's just like, this is my swamp. And then he decides to kill Mr. Khan, the richest guy and maybe one of the richest guys in the mainland. Like, it's not going to have any effect on him whatsoever. And for how smart Cash is and how far he's come, he would just do that and risk himself going to jail after he's been here. It's really freaking weird and unbelievable to me. But anyway, they did this stupid plot point to prove that Mr. Khan had the Brads under control. And he's like, do you really think I would give you full control and blah, blah, blah? Because of course, yeah, Cash is not that smart. May is still hurt, of course, and Cash is taken away to be locked up. For once, it's actually good to see everyone walking around and not being chased by dinosaurs. But then Brooklyn feels as though Kenji's dad's not telling the whole truth, because that's just who she is. She's a sleuth, and of course she's going to have that mindset, but I gotta admit, it's a bit annoying. It's like, yo, you couldn't let them situate themselves for a hot second? Really? Just wait. You all just got here. And of course, this is a Jurassic Park show, so I completely understand that a lot of this is dramatized for the sake of them loving the dinosaurs. And instead of wanting to go back home and actually survive like natural people would want to do, and then raise awareness, they forfeit that because they're like, we gotta stay and figure things out on the island. And I can't even blame the show writers because that's the kind of shit I would do with Land Before Time, with the exception that not every single one of the characters are gonna be on board. Let's say Kenji wasn't in the equation, Littlefoot would be the one who'd be like, we have to figure out how to save all the others. And Sarah would be the one like, that's great. I wanna go home. I don't want to stay here. We can get grown-ups and a whole bunch of other people in on this instead of us trying to do it ourselves and then risking getting killed and erased. Because, you know, that's a smart thing to do. And it's kind of unrealistic that none of them have any, like, rebuttal to that at all. It's just kind of hilarious. If anybody, I expected Yaz to be the one to at least stand up and be like, yeah, we want to go home. But I guess the show writers are so afraid because they think that, well, people won't like this person if they don't have exactly the same opinion as the other person. But we do get a little bit of that with Kenji. So Kenji gets to shave and they get a little bit clean. I like how they still have attention to detail. Like, Ben and Darius' shirt being all torn up because, you know, they have been through a lot. I'm guessing they have a washer and dryer in this place that Dr. Khan set up for them. But anyway, they're happy to be relaxed. And Mr. Khan is like, I know it's unfair to ask you guys this, but I'm gonna arrange to get you home safely, but I'd like for this to be discreet, you know, because, yeah, if people find out about this, then they might not like the dinosaurs and whatnot, and I'm trying to keep things running smoothly. Please do it for Kenji. At this point, Kenji also is estranged from his dad. He's always wanted to please his dad. I think he's the only son, and he loves his dad so much, and we saw a lead up to this because in the first few episodes of the first season, Kenji's this rich brat kid whose father never really even raised him, just gave him toys and walked away, and he always had to earn his dad's affection, which he never got. So now he gets to see that his dad was happy to see that he was alive. You know, he's like, oh, my son, you're alive. And Kenji's like, now I get to reconnect with my dad or connect with him in general. So, you know, he's family. No matter what or how bad your parents are, on some level you still love them until something morbid happens to make you stray away. Kenji never even got that chance to connect with his father. So it's interesting seeing this dynamic, and that part is very realistic because I would see that. I completely feel for Kenji. May is getting treated for her injuries. Cash is locked up. And again, I am so glad that they show blood. Because of the attack that happened with Cash, May's wounds opened back up and it looks like she's actually hurt. I respect the show for doing that, for us seeing that, wow, our characters that we like bleed. They're real. I actually care about them if something happens to them. Big Edie is still not eating, and Darius is worried about her. And honestly, I can't blame him because I think I would be Darius in this situation. We found out that Cash is actually one who blackmailed Sammy's family, but he alludes to Khan being the one who iced him out after they thought that Sammy was dead. Basically telling the girls that, yeah, you might want to be careful because this guy has a way of turning on people. While Kenji is trying to bond with his father is so busy with what he's doing. He's like, I'm boring you, aren't I? And his dad's like, no, it's just, I just got a lot on my plates and he has so much to do in 2 days. So of course, Kenji finds out that the investor presentation is happening in 2 days. His dad is going to basically show the investors that dinosaurs can fight and they can make money off of that. Darius speaks to Big Edie, using the little talkie dinosaur thing, that same kind of mechanism that they used in Godzilla King of the Monsters. For sure if that's where they got the idea from, but I mean, you know. I do like that reaction because Big Edie can respond to things that are said to her, but at the crux of it, she's still a T-Rex. But I like how they don't make the T-Rexes like mindless animals that will just kill for the sake of killing, even though sometimes they do, so they kind of go back and forth with that. It really depends. These animals are still wild, they're still dinosaurs. You don't exactly know if they're going to eat you or when they're going to eat you. Darius finds out that she's sad because she misses her daughter. Dr. Khan saves Kenji after he almost gets eaten and says that dinosaurs will fight anyway. Brooklyn and Sammy go snooping around in Khan's office and find out that he owns Sammy's ranch. Khan finds out what they've been doing, and he claims, when Jurassic World went under, your parents had no way of paying back the rent, so technically I bought their debt. You're welcome. I also made them the exclusive meat supplier here, so all the meat that her farm raises goes to Jurassic World. Sammy thinks this is awesome, but Brooke still doesn't trust him. I feel like Brooke is the kind of person who is great for sleuth work, but she'd be terrible at relationships, because she'd be looking for every single way after the butterflies die down to find out if something's wrong with someone and not trust them. I think long term, she'd be a horrible partner. Or maybe not. Maybe she knows how to compartmentalize that. But from my experience, people who are always thinking that people have secrets to hide and they just mistrust everyone usually have issues with relationships. But to be fair, maybe Brooklyn is a little bit more functional because at least she does trust her friends. Or maybe she doesn't. We're only getting it from the outside perspective, but she could very well be like Batman and have a way to have something on everyone, so if she needs to protect herself, she'll turn on them. Honestly, I would not put it past Brooklyn. Kenji's making excuses for his father, and I don't blame him because it's his dad, you know? If it was your brother or your dad, and he's your family and your blood, you would give them the benefit of the doubt. He just can't see that his father is this evil person. And Brooklyn kind of doesn't want to tell him because she doesn't want to ruin what he has with his father. Kenji tries to show his dad that dinosaurs are more than just mindless beasts. Darius releases Big Edie, and Khan is ready to protect his son. I like how Darius is trying to tell her to calm down, you're safe, as she's being fired upon by this robot. Like, how is she supposed to trust you? It's so hilarious. It's okay, Big Edie, nothing's gonna hurt you. Slam right in the face with a freaking energy beam. Really, bro? Nothing's gonna hurt me? But Big Edie and Little Edie meet each other again, and all they care about is loving each other. Honestly, seeing Big Edie and Little Edie dote on each other is the wholesome and purest scenes in this entire show. Just look at them. Look, I am here for this, man. This is like the best part of the whole series. So Kenji's dad is convinced. He says he doesn't want to have the dinosaurs fight anymore, and he's proud of his son because he stood up for what he believed. And everything is going well, and Brooklyn thinks everything is fine too. We always see growth with the characters, like them not being able to sleep alone because they're so used to the whole caveman lifestyle with dinosaurs and things chasing them that they've gotten so used to as a group and as a pack working together. While the group is sleeping, Khan gets May, and May realizes, oh no, Khan's not a nice person. Brad is out of containment, and not only that, Khan wants May to work with, did I say Brad? I meant Cash. If I said Brad, I'm sorry. Cash. He wants May to work with Cash. He kind of threatens her and says that if you don't work with him, things might not go so well for these kids. So May is realizing he's not really a nice guy. And the reason why he wants them to work together is because the ability that the kids have to talk to the dinosaurs is actually more valuable than them just fighting. Because if you can control them and talk to them, then you can get them to do anything else you want. In episode 2 of season 5, The Final Test, Brooke still doesn't trust Khan. She says he gives off total liar vibes. She doesn't want it to be true because of her boyfriend's sake, and also because Kenji is so happy that his dad wants him to work with him. And I really do believe Brooklyn cares about Kenji because she doesn't straight up go and say, hey, your dad looks like an asshole, or I don't trust him. She really cares about Kenji, and I'm glad. This actually makes me like Brooke more because she's just not in it for herself. She actually cares now about her friends, and she's grown so much because she was not like that when it started out. Kenji and Brooke have a date. While Kenji's gone, she's like, yeah, what if he's asking Kenji to do stuff because he's doing something else shady? And part of me is just like, can y'all just relax for a second? Like, I get it, but they have a good reason to not relax. Because Khan is more concerned about getting his stuff under order than getting the kids home right away. May is now working for Khan, so when they try to go to May, Khan tells her to get rid of the kids. So she has to be like super mean to them, but kind of gives them like a little hint. Sammy and Yaz help Kenji plan his date. While Kenji tells his dad that he has a date with Brooklyn, something that his dad is obviously not happy about, but he has to pretend that he's happy about it because he wants Kenji on his side. Not only that, but the Brads are now guarding where Cash is locked up, which is very weird. They had given the kids a hint about checking the nursery, and when they do, Cash is not in there, obviously. So it means that Khan let him out. Honestly, if it were me, I would have thought that he just killed him, but from a business standpoint, Cash is too important. Darius, Brooke, and Ben see all these drones in the forest biome, and they're like, what the hell's going on? Brooke is so tied up with wanting to figure things out that she knows that she should probably be late for Kenji's date. And that's what I'm talking about, Brooke. I think she's the kind of person that she could love someone, but she'd be so tied up in her work that she'd forget to pay her friends any attention. I mean, it is who she is. Like, she's always been that kind of person when they met her. Long term, those same behaviors, I could see them becoming quite destructive in her adulthood. It's like she wouldn't have time for any relationships unless someone worked in exactly the same field as she did. Anyway, the investors show up and they figure out that they have the drones around Big Edie. Because of working together, they can control the dinosaurs, which was always what Cash wanted to do and what he was trying to do from the beginning when he did that with Firecracker. May is not happy about this. Khan gives his son a suit. He's like, a Khan's always gotta look sharp. You gotta look sharp for your date, don't you? Brooklyn is late for her date, and Kenji has a yellow flower because Brooklyn likes yellow, even though everything on her is pink. As they're trying to get back, Brooke, Darius, and Ben realize that the drones with the raptors were placed right in their path, so they can't come back. And this is where things get really hairy because now they know for certain that Khan is against them. Honestly, this part of the show where Big Edie is being controlled to keep the kids out of the building is freaking amazing. There's so many close shots, and we know that the kids have plot armor, they're not gonna get hurt, but they do a really good job at making you believe for a second that they will. Really well done. I gotta admit, that was amazing. Kind of reminds me of the Lost World Jurassic Park with the waterfall scene. I've watched the Jurassic Park movies so many times, at least the earlier 3, that I remember it shot for shot, and that's exactly what it reminded me of. And then when they're shimmying past the wall and Big Edie's following them along the edge, woo, that was terrifying. I love it. But the group finally do make it inside. Brooklyn realizes she missed her date. Because Kenji was stood up, the father says, why don't you not waste the night and come with me to the investor party? Kenji is a really good extrovert and very social, so of course he entertains the guys, telling them all these stories about how he saved the kid, probably Ben, from the dinosaur and makes himself look as though he's totally cool. For a minute there, he reverts back into his old character.
Now we know why his dad was trying to keep us away.
We just have to tell Kenji the truth and hope he's still on our side afterwards.
Oh, and then the kid was like,
We clearly see that his dad only seems to like him or being around him when he is like him. Kenji just wants to be loved. He never had the love of a parent, and he looks up to his father. I think a lot of us can attest to this. And you're either on two sides of the table. You're either on the table where your parent completely ignores you and acts like they don't like you, and you try to get as close to them as possible to like earn their love or something, or when your parent loves you and smothers you, and you try your best because of how toxic and abusive they are to get as far away from them as possible. I've experienced the latter. But my mom, being the person I was trying to get away from, has experienced the former, where her mother was just like Kenji's father. Sure, she beat the shit out of my mom too, but there are times where her mother told her she hated her, and she wished she were dead, and all she wanted to do was please her mom and make her smile. Those few, very rare moments when her mom laughed at something, or smiled at her, or was actually pleased with her, she said it was the best feeling in the whole world, and she wanted nothing more than her mom to be able to smile like that again. Like, it's kind of crazy, and I'm glad that they showcased this. And at first I was very upset, because I'm like, really? They're gonna make his dad a bad guy? But in reality, speaking from experience, there are parents like this. And it's interesting to show Kenji deal with actually having a parent that's not a nice person, and that doesn't actually love their kid, or they conditionally love their kid. Like my mom conditionally loved me. I mean, sure, the parents will say they love you, and they provide for you and everything, but anyone can do that. There are a lot of people who provide for their pets and make sure they never go hungry, but then they beat the shit out of them or abuse them. Or just straight up neglect them and don't give them any discipline and let them roam the street and get hit by cars. This is something that actually happens, and it's so interesting to see this addressed in Camp Cretaceous. And I honestly feel so bad for Kenji. At the end of the episode, we see the previous camp counselors talking with Darius's brother, and they're talking with Darius's brother, and he's saying that, look, nobody believes me. I tried the Coast Guard, I tried anybody. Nobody believes that a 13-year-old kid could survive the events of Jurassic World, which is very freaking stupid, because don't they know what happens in Jurassic Park movies? That kids never get killed? Shame on them. I find it very hard to believe that nobody would go look for them. Like, there's not just one kid missing, there's 6. Of all the people that made it out alive, no one decided to take a helicopter to go over there and look. They're American citizen kids, because that's always a thing, right? They gotta be American for people to actually care about them or something. God forbid they're from some other island or some other country. Nobody would give a shit. But there's 6 American kids, and nobody tries to go over there and look for a search rescue team to go over there and get the kids. That's so freaking weird and unbelievable. But, you know, for the plot's sake, Darius's brother needs to be able to go back to the island somehow. So that's where episode 2 Final Test leaves off. Man, I love the show. I'm actually finished watching it, but you guys, I was gonna give my complete review on it, and I probably still will, but you guys wanted me to go through like little segments of the episodes to talk about different things. So I will do that and probably like put some of the episodes together and just talk about like 3 at a time or 2 at a time or 4 at a time or whatever it is. But I gotta say, I absolutely love the show, and the way they ended the series, this feels like a series finale, but it doesn't have to be, because they kind of end it with that open-ended thing where they're like, I mean, we could continue if we absolutely wanted to, and I love it. I love the way it ended. I absolutely love the show, and I have got to say, and I'm not the only one who said it, this Camp Cretaceous series is loads better than that Jurassic World Dominion shit that we got. I know, there are people who loved it, and you know what? I am glad you all enjoyed it. I am so glad. And there were very enjoyable moments in that movie. But the grand total of the movie, for me personally, in Camp Cretaceous is far better. I feel like Camp Cretaceous is a good representation of how to do a movie with dinosaurs and kids and a cohesive story. Even though I'm aware that a lot of it is corny and contrived, it is still way more enjoyable than anything we've gotten in, the last 3 Jurassic Park. As a matter of fact, the whole Jurassic World trilogy was just, with the exception of the first movie, that was kind of okay, because, you know, they were riding off the whole nostalgia boot thing, and it was fine because they introduced something different, the hybrid. But this show, oh my god, they did things so well here, and at times it didn't feel like I was watching a kid's show. I know the animation puts a lot of people off because it looks like Dragon's 9 Realms, but trust me, this is way more enjoyable than that. If you're a Jurassic Park fan and you want something of more substance and you think the dinosaurs deserve more, but there's still an element of danger and the dinosaurs sort of being scary, this is it. And I am completely aware that there are scenes in here where it's like, okay, yeah, when the adults are getting chased by dinosaurs, the dinosaurs eat them right away. When the kids are being chased by the dinosaurs and the dinosaurs catch up to them, all the dinosaurs do is freaking roar at them and give them a chance to get away before snapping down. That part is very annoying. I will admit that part is so annoying, it makes me want to pull the fur on my tails out. There are scenes, like the T-Rex scene with Big Edie, where it actually feels as though the dinosaur's trying to get to them, and of course it can't, because there is a literal plot armor thing, which is the little drone barrier that's keeping the T-Rex out. But it's all about how they set up the scenes, and I admit that some episodes and some scenes do it better than others. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.